guys, so it's been a long time. I haven't filmed a video once this month, except for that one time I went on Blog TV. By the way, the hair thing was a prank, April Fools. Yeah, I got my wisdom teeth out, which is what this video is going to be about. So I couldn't pull a prank on you guys, and so what's a better prank than pulling an April Fool's prank that's after April Fool's Day and not even close to April Fool's Day. So, yeah, that was just a prank. I put my hair up, and it wasn't real. So I just wanted to clear that up. I think some people were like very offended and insulted. They're like, this is not real. Show your hair. I'm like, for crying out loud, put the pitchforks down. I can't even pull a little prank around here anymore. But basically, this video is going to be about wisdom teeth, getting your wisdom teeth out. Don't listen. It's like pregnancy. I've never been, so this actually isn't like pregnancy, but it's like the idea that I assume people give you horror stories and they say all these things and you get so worried and you're like, I'm not gonna make it, I'm gonna die. And it's not like that at all. Anyway, so yeah, if you're getting your wisdom teeth out, I think you should watch this video and continue to watch through the rest of it because I'm gonna give some, oh, the phone's ringing now. I'm gonna give some tips and, you know, just advice, I guess, on wisdom teeth removal, stuff like that. So yeah, I got 4 teeth out, 4 wisdom teeth. And I had known that I had to get them out for a while, and I was just dreading it because this was like the #1 thing that I refused. Like, I was like, I know I have to get them out, but I'm not going to because I've heard just the most horrible horror stories ever. So eventually I just had to, and it's good to get them out as soon as possible just because they always tell you, you know, it's not as easy when you're older, and I'm not talking like when you're 20, but I'm saying like when you're 40, 30, 50... 90. So I would say get them out now as soon as possible and give yourself a week to recover. So I did mine before spring break. Don't plan to go to school like 2 days after or the next day because you just, I mean, it really depends on your situation. So I'm sure some people, I heard that some people could go out like the night of. And it took me I would say 4 days to where I could really like be better. I couldn't eat everything after 4 days. I had to wait like about a week, or actually I don't remember, but either way I'll get into that later. But so just get it over with. I know you're probably, if you have to get it out, you're probably dreading it, but just do it. Now, I was put to sleep for it, and that was like the thing that I was worried about even more than, you know, if it was gonna hurt. So I was gonna do 2 at a time because I didn't think that, I just thought it would be so much more difficult to heal if all of them were out at one time, and I was like, how am I gonna even, it's gonna be bad. But they convinced me, because of my fear of being put to sleep, they were like, just do it all at once, because then you're gonna have to be put to sleep twice, and then that increases complications. So I was like, just do it. All of them at once, just do it. So that's what I did. I did all of them at once. I was put to sleep for it, and that was a weird experience. Yeah, don't look on YouTube of people after they get their wisdom teeth out like I did. Not only will you find very disturbing videos of people very loopy, but the way YouTube is, if you watch certain video or types of videos, it'll come up on the recommended on the side. So for the whole week leading up to my wisdom teeth removal, YouTube was kindly showing me, you know, girl freaks out after wisdom teeth. Girl says crazy things after wisdom teeth. And I was like, this isn't, it was just reminding me over and over, and it would just come up with new ideas of wisdom teeth videos to watch. And I was like, I really don't, I didn't sign up for this. I shouldn't have even watched one. So don't do it. But of course, there are always the videos of people, I think there was a girl on Ellen talking about unicorns and stuff. And so I was really, honestly, not happy with that. I didn't want to be stupid in front of people, you know? I didn't want to say stupid things. So I was very worried. And I was just, and I didn't want to get sick or anything. I know when I had to, you know, get it done, I had to sign forms and stuff. And it was like, oh, well, you know, this could happen, you could die. It said that I could die. So I was like, all right, I'll sign. So that was really not good, but I guess they have to. But it did say that I could die, so that's always fun. But it says that you could be nauseous and stuff like that, and I was really not, I was thinking of all the worst, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna throw up, and it's just not gonna be good, and especially if it's right after, and it's like, it wasn't gonna be good. So, thank God I did not get sick or feel sick once at all throughout oh, that's not true. I felt a little bit nauseous the first day when I got home for just like a moment. It was like, it went away very fast. So I didn't get sick, but what happened was I wasn't really prepared for this because I'd never been put to sleep, and so I just thought, I just didn't know what to expect. But it wasn't the circus that happened when I was getting, when I went right into the dentist place. So I get in there, and I guess the people that were, the oral surgeon and the two helpers or whatever, were, it's probably very derogatory to call them helpers, his little elves. The two people that assist, I guess. The two people that were helping him, they were very focused, and they didn't really ask me. I mean, I was glad, I think that I went to, like, really good people, and I was like, I would recommend them to anyone near me. So that was good, but they just were so, like, I felt like I was so scared. I was like, is this really happening? I was just so worried, and the whole time they were talking about, like, it was like another day to them, and obviously it was. I'm sure they do these all the time. They do them all the time, but for me it was like, they weren't even like, are you okay? Are you nervous? They were just like, so did you see 21 Jump Street? And I was like, I saw it. So I guess I'm assuming they did what I did to people that I babysit, kids that I don't babysit people, I babysit kids. And what I do is the distraction trick, where when the parent's leaving, you distract the kid with something so that they don't watch the parent leave, because then they go crying and they get freaked out. So if you distract them, then they forget it, they're over it. So I am assuming they were trying to do that with me. I'm assuming they do that to everyone who's getting their wisdom teeth out. They just sort of talk about something else that's like, normal conversation, like movies or whatever. So that's what they were doing, I assumed, to me. And it worked because I mean, it was fine. I'm glad that they weren't like, are you okay? Because I would have been like, no. So I guess if I was able to sort of not think about it for a little bit, then that was fine. And then they started like, now this was just ridiculous at this part because I didn't like it. But anyway, so I was laying down in the chair, and they started putting like straps all over so that I wouldn't, escape, for crying out loud. And they, no, it wasn't that I wouldn't escape, but, like, okay, so when you get your wisdom teeth out and you're put to sleep, I'm assuming they do this to everyone, they're gonna, like, strap you to the chair, because when you're put to sleep, like, you could just sort of, like, roll off the chair, so that wouldn't be good. And if you're, like, if you wake up in the middle of it, which I did, I don't know, I guess they don't want you to, like, get up and be like, hey, everybody! So, I don't know, they just strap me over my stomach and, like, at my feet, which was really, I didn't know that was gonna happen, so I was like, are you freaking kidding? This is seriously happening? Why is this happening? Ugh, it wasn't good. So anyway, so then they had, it's always bad news when they bring the white light in your face, and you're like, oh, this is like every movie ever, and it's always bad. But anyway, so it was like a surgery. I mean, it wasn't a surgery, but it felt like it with everybody, like, getting things, and I don't know. So the big light was in my face, and I'm just looking down there, strapping me to the chair, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it out of this alive. So then, they put the, IV into my right arm, and they were, like, smacking my arm to make the vein come out, which I didn't appreciate, but whatever. So they were doing that, and they, put the IV in, and I'm okay. I don't like needles, but I'm able to sort of get over it. So that was fine. And I was thinking, because everyone told me that when you get put to sleep, the doctor will be like, oh, we'll count backwards from 100. So I was waiting for something, and he puts the IV in, and I'm like, so how long does this take to kick in here? And he's like, oh, it's just fluid in there right now. There's no medicine in it. I guess medicine was the anesthesia or whatever. So I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, either he's lying, and I'm going to pass out in, like, 1 second, or there really is there's just fluid right now, and I'm going to be, like, I'm okay. So I kind of thought he was tricking me. He was going to be like, oh, there's nothing in here, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, and then my eyes would close, and I'd wake up. But there really wasn't any fluid in there yet. I mean, there was fluid, but there wasn't any medicine, so I was just, like, awake for, like, an awkward amount of time right now. Oh, and then they put the thing over my nose, which I had gotten done. I've gotten the thing over your nose for another thing, and that's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. And they didn't give me, I just remember the last time I got it done, which was a few years ago, the nose thing. I remember I felt it more that time, so this time I guess it wasn't a lot at all, or maybe it was just air and they, again, tricked me. I'm very skeptical about this stuff. So they put that over my nose and they were like, breathe in through your nose, and I was like, okay. Didn't really do anything. But it was something to think about. So then they were like, they didn't put the medicine in because they didn't want to commit to my right arm. So they had my left arm. They're smacking my left arm to get another vein out, and I'm like, literally smacking all my arms. Seriously, we didn't even get to the teeth yet, and they're just smacking my arms. And so they decided to stick with this arm. So they stuck with that arm, and then all of a sudden, I mean, I can't remember what else I asked them. I don't think there was anything else. I remember one of the ladies was putting some, like, she had like a little Q-tip, and she was putting in this thing and putting it on my lips, and I was like, well, what does this do? And she's like, it's just Vaseline, because we're gonna be, you know. And I was like, oh, there was some magic lip plumper. No, but it wasn't. It was just Vaseline. So don't ask if it doesn't really make sense to be anything else, and just don't ask. And then they put this thing in my mouth, and it, like, I guess for when they're doing your wisdom teeth, it like pulls open your mouth. I don't want to think about it. I don't even want to know what I looked like. I don't want to know. So anyway, so then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, nobody told me to count backwards. Nobody told me anything. I just have no memory at all of when I fell asleep at all. So I guess my next memory, after just sort of just being awake for 1 second, and the next memory, I'm awake, and the lady is waking me up, and I'm wearing something that I wasn't wearing before. No, I was wearing a sweater that I had brought with me. And so I was wearing a sweater, and over my, you know, whatever, and I didn't put it on, so somebody must have put my sweater on me, which is, I have no memory of that. And it was weird. It was like, it wasn't bad like I thought it was going to be, and I wasn't saying anything stupid. I was out of it, but I wasn't like, unicorns and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like that at all. So all the videos that you've seen of wisdom teeth removal could be true for them, but I don't see how that's possible. But anyway, it's probably not going to be that way for you. You're probably not going to be that crazy. I was just a little bit out of it, and it looked like just dazed, and oh yeah, when I woke up I was crying, and I don't know why. I mean, they tell me that a lot of people do that, or at least my age. I don't know, I think it's just the way that you react to it, and it's for no reason. Like, I just woke up and there were just, like, tears coming out of my eyes. I wasn't, like, sobbing, but I was just, like, it was weird. There were tears coming out of my eyes, and I even said, I was like, I don't know why I'm crying, and they're like, it's okay, and I'm like, okay, but I don't know, make it stop. So, I don't know, that was weird, but, and actually a friend of mine had that happen to her, too. So, that's pretty standard, I guess. So, you might wake up crying and not even know why. And so, yeah, I was just really out of it, and they kept telling me I went to, like, I was just putting my hand, like, near my mouth, because, like, I had the gauze in, and it was just, like, big. I didn't have one of those wraparound things, but it was just weird, you know, and so I kept putting my hand, like, I don't know, and they kept, like, telling me not to do that, and I would go back and be like, okay, and then they'd be like, don't, and I'd be like, okay, they'd be like, don't do it. So I felt like an idiot. I mean, now, I guess. I mean, that wasn't bad, but whatever. It's just sort of funny. And, what else? Yeah, that was just weird, and I have no memory of walking to the car, or I have no memory of the car ride home. It wasn't a long ride, but I have no memory of it. I remember everyone kept thinking that I wasn't going to be able to walk, and I was just like, I can walk. Like, I don't know, it was just, it's like, that's kind of annoying. That's weird when you're, like, a little bit out of it, and everyone thinks that you're, like, way worse than you are, and you're like, I'm not as bad as you think I am, but whatever. So, I got home, and really the worst part of the whole, like, oh, my cheeks were really swollen, so that was fun. But the worst part of the whole thing, the pain that went, when it was the worst, was when, not when I got home, but when the numbness started to go away, which was, I guess, like an hour, maybe, after I was home. Then it was like, because I took extra strength Motrin. I could have taken a Vicodin, but I didn't want to. So I took extra strength Motrin, but I hadn't taken one yet. So, I hadn't taken anything before I got my wisdom teeth out or after. So it was just literally like the numbness wore off, and I was like, oh my gosh. So that hurt really, really, really bad. and I just quick took like an extra strength Motrin because that was really, it hurt really bad. But it's fine. Don't worry. You'll be fine. And so yeah, the first day, I mean, I don't know if it was the worst day. I guess it was just with the fact that it hurt the most for that, you know, short period of time. But it was just, you know, and I was really lucky, I think, with like my recovery, because it didn't bleed at all. Like, it only bled like a little bit on the first day. I took my gauze out and it was fine. Like, I really barely, there was like no blood at all. So that was extremely lucky. But it was just kind of gross because there was like a little bit, like, you know, throughout the whole day. There wasn't a lot, but I would just like swallow blood. It was gross. Anyway, so that's really gross, and still shudder at it. But anyway, so it was fine. I'm over it. And then there's just like annoying, it's very uncomfortable and very inconvenient and just very, I don't know what to call it, but I slept like in a chair the first night because I really don't recommend that you sleep laying down, because just don't. Just sleep upright if you can. And what else? I was able to eat like mashed potatoes and stuff, and Jello and whatever. Okay, so there are things that they're going to tell you, which I don't really need to tell you because they're going to tell you anyway. But don't use a straw. It's been 2 weeks and I still haven't used a straw because I don't want to. But basically the whole thing is behind a straw. The motion will or could sort of irritate the healing and everything back here. That's where you could get what do you call it? Dry socket. And everyone was freaking telling me about dry socket. They're like, I mean, I had freakouts on Twitter. I was like, guys, I need like a straitjacket because I'm freaking out. So I definitely had like many freakouts before I got my wisdom teeth out, where I was just like, I can't. But it was bad. Anyway, so I would be like on Twitter or whatever, I'd be like, I'm really freaking out. I don't want to get my wisdom teeth out. Oh my gosh. So people would write things, or not just on Twitter, but like whatever. They'd be like, oh, it took me 5 months to heal from my wisdom teeth. Be careful. I was like, why are you telling me that? It's been, you know, after 4 days I was fine. So don't listen to people, and just because you had like a very long healing process or something went wrong, or even if you did get dry socket, doesn't mean that like everyone does. So I don't advise that you tell people that, because really it just freaked me out more, and I was fine after 4 days and get dry socket and get anything. Didn't get infected. So don't tell people that. If that were to happen to someone, let them deal with it. Their doctor or dentist, whatever, is going to tell them what to do. So don't be like, oh, you have to do this or else you're going to get dry socket. Don't do it, because it just freaks you out. It really does. So it wasn't a problem. I didn't have any of that. People told me to do like just a bunch of stuff, and I was like, okay. And then when it was actually happening, and I was healing, I didn't do any of that. So really, all you can do is just like lay down and watch TV or watch movies for like 3 days. And my dentist told me to use ice pack or something, to every 20 minutes and 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off for the first day. And then, so the second day, because I did that the first day, the second day my cheeks were not swollen at all, or they went down a lot. And so that was good, but then they came back the third day and the fourth day and like probably the fifth day, they were still swollen and they blew up again. So that's normal, he said. And then, yeah, so, if definitely use the ice pack the first day and maybe like a few days after that or whatever they tell you to. But if your, swelling goes down after the second day, you should like expect it to come back up, because it's just how it happens. And then I had stitches, and they were dissolvable stitches, more like swallow them on Easter Sunday while you're eating dinner, because that's what happened to me. They didn't dissolve, and even a friend of mine was like, she said that she would like just spit them out and be like, what the, and they'd be like stitches in her hand. So that's really gross, and that didn't happen to me, but they were there, and like, it was so weird. Anyway, that part really sucked, the stitches. I mean, it didn't suck that bad, but it was just like, it was annoying, and it was very uncomfortable. And it's like losing a tooth. When you like, it's, well, this is like a long time ago, but when it's like really wiggly, and you just can't do anything with it, and it's just very inconvenient, and you just want to pull it out, but it's not ready yet, so you have to wait till it falls out. That's what the stitches were like for me. I had 4. So I think I lost these because I chewed on this side more. And I think I lost like this one the first time, and I really just like, I swallowed the stitches because guess what? I didn't really have a choice. I'd just be eating something and then I'd be like, it's gone. That's weird. So yeah, I didn't have a choice. So gross. I know, really gross. But yeah, that's really how my stitches came out. They didn't dissolve. Well, now they've dissolved, but they didn't dissolve in my mouth. So yeah, that was annoying. And I just remember like waiting on like, you know, certain ones and I'd be like, oh, it's still there. So yeah, just be aware of that. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just like, I don't know. Nobody really told me about that, so whatever. I was able to eat mashed potatoes, Jell-O, applesauce, and then towards like day 3 or day 4, I think I was able to eat like macaroni and cheese. And then, you know, after that, I was able to eat like very, you know, within the week. And it still hurt, and I still had to take, I took the extra strength Motrin every 8 hours, and I would definitely do that. I had to wake up in the morning. Oh, and I ate ice cream too. But I would wake up in the morning at like 5 in the morning or whenever the 8 hours was up, when I had last taken an extra strength Motrin, and I'd have to wake up at like 5 in the morning, you know, set an alarm, eat a little something because you can't really have it on an empty stomach, and then I'd take one and then I'd go back to sleep. So keep on top of that. Don't let yourself sleep the whole night, because I don't know, but I'm assuming that by the time you wake up, it'll hurt really, really bad. So just keep on top of it, because I wouldn't want that to build up and then like be due for one and it'd be like hours after I should have had it, because that probably would hurt really bad. But after like 4 days or 5 days, I didn't have to take the extra strength Motrin at all. And if anything, I would just take an Advil, but it really wasn't that bad. And I mean, it did hurt, and it was as bad as I thought it would be in terms of like how it felt, but the healing wasn't as bad as I thought it would be in terms of like being nauseous, bleeding, you know what I mean? So I think it went really well, but it's still it's like really difficult to get through, because it's just so, I don't know, it's just like, it's not good. It's not fun at all. It's like the least fun thing I could probably think of to do, but you just have to do it. So really, it's been 2 weeks and I'm fine, and even I was fine after the first week. So really, just get it done. Don't listen to anyone's horror stories, because you're going to be fine. Watch movies and TV shows, and that's it, really. I mean, you'll be fine. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to say, but I don't think there is. So if there is, I'll add an annotation. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll answer it. And yeah, so any questions, I'll answer it based off of my experience. And tell me your experience getting your wisdom tooth out, and if you got 4, or if you got, you know, 2 or 1 or 3. So, yeah, let me know, comment below. Ew, I hate rhyming. And thumbs up, and thank you for watching.